cheat him. Cause you know they already mess with each other.
Yeah, they do. And it's gonna be another back and forth with
Yeah.
those two fools.
Cause when he talking about damn, he talking about what do you mean by that? I just said no. I said damn. He said no, you
He
didn't.
said, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it like
I
that.
didn't mean it like that.
There's a
Yeah,
little
you
robbery
did.
that takes place.
There's a little robbery.
Just a little bit.
Who's on the robbery side?
I don't know.
Somebody with a wig
Some
on.
bad people. Everybody got a wig on. Everybody got a wig on.
Yeah,
So
you're
what's your
right.
character's name in this
Yeah,
movie?
It's Cadillac Richie.
when they
Cadillac
played it,
Richie.
I think
Yeah.
that's what
Okay,
they're gonna
Cadillac
do.
Richie.
Yeah,
'Cause they
Cadillac
robbed him
Richie.
somewhere.
How is this different from any of your other characters you played?
I think Cadillac is a bit of a sociopath.
Okay, so she asked him, what's the difference between this character and all the other ones you played? He said, this one's a sociopath.
Oh yeah, because yeah, that dude that he was talking, the one that he shows, I think they show it.
Wait, they showed it in here?
Yeah, let it go.
Wow.
I've only
Yeah, he
played a
showed.
sociopath, I think, once in a movie called with Andre 3000,
Mhm.
Idlewild.
Quite a while. Yeah.
You see, I've watched you
This
for a
dude
long
sick.
time,
Yeah.
Spence.
But you know who else was sick?
Idlewild was
taught me.
crazy. With Andre 3.
And when
When he played Dirty Santa Claus, he was nasty.
He played who?
The Santa Claus guy. Remember he kept talking about he had the dookie and burning people up. Remember when he was in that movie with the Bad Santa?
I remember Bad Santa.
He was Tim what the hell is that?
Because he was
white
in
boy?
there with Bernie Mac.
Yeah, but Thornton was the one that played the Santa Claus. Remember he kept pissing on himself and because he was an alcoholic.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was his helper. One of the little helpers that he had. And he was always like sneaking and looking around, stealing stuff, wiping boogers on shit. You don't remember that? He was rough, man.
I'm trying.
Was nasty. It was booger wiper too, man. Let the children play.
I got a dookie.
Yeah, he I got
I got a dookie. Yeah. Okay. Now that I had to.
Opportunity knocks.
I had to bring that back real quick.
You said the smart man answers.
You know what you taught me well.
See, that was some really good advice.
That was the
really
closest
good
I got to a sociopath,
That's why he
you
took
know.
it.
But Cadillac is a little more fun.
Okay.
A little more fun.
What was that preparation like preparing? Because I've heard you
Now,
say a
that's what I
couple
always
things
think.
in other interviews.
Just like this preparation he's talking about.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
And I want to
Well, he
ask you
actually
about that
talking
because
about
I
becoming
did
possessed.
some acting and studying acting.
Listen at this.
And you said something I've never really heard a lot of actors say about the process of acting. And you said that sometimes when you walk off, they walk off with your clothes.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Well, as an actor, you're more like a medium.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you really get there, you go into this zone and you really divorce yourself of who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and you just become a garment that something else puts on. Now,
Right.
a lot of people sit up there and do impersonations of other folks,
Mm-hmm.
instead of allowing that spirit, but I sit up and I'll pray for a little bit and go in a dark place,
Mm-hmm.
go in the bathroom, turn off the lights, look in the mirror. We'll have the light on at first, and then after 1 minute, turn the light off and, and search until you see your own glow, your own aura,
Mhm.
and then you watch it change.
Wow.
And it's a scary thing
Yeah.
because you'll feel like some hands are on you,
Wow.
and you lose a little bit of control of what you're doing. But, if you stay
What do you think about it?
So Heath Ledger played the Joker.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger played one of the best Jokers
He died though.
after that. Never even seen the movie come out.
I think that's what he's trying to tell you. Not that guy died, but he's trying to tell you can get so engrossed
He
in
got
this stuff.
so into it. He
Yeah.
locked himself in a room by himself with just, I think, a bed and a writer's table. like 6 months
For what though?
perfecting this character.
Man, I don't even play me that good.
Ladies and gentlemen, when he came out there and did that,
And I didn't even see which one was that. Which
that's the Dark Knight. That's
Dark
the
Knight,
one.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
the one where
he played that part.
he played that part so well. But it was just the fact of him playing that part and then not being able to even see it happen because I think really it took a toll on him to play that part. He really became insane. He became the person that the Joker really is, like that people don't
Well,
know.
you may not remember, but when Forrest Whitaker said when he played Idi Amin, he said it took him a long time to get rid of that guy. He was so involved in that guy where he played that guy 24 hours a day, and everybody was thinking he was going over it, but he wanted a great performance. He got that,
And that's what happens.
but and I think you keep a little bit of those guys in your psychic, anyways, man. Once you put that in your mind like that, you can't get rid of that completely. It ain't like you can scrub all your mind because your brain, first of all, takes stuff and just put it all over the place. So you might have it stuck somewhere in the back of the file cabinet that you don't even know anything about. You know, with all the other stuff that you hide.
Yeah, that too.
So,
Let's
yeah.
let's finish
with
listening.
it. You'll be inhabited by something, and then you walk out, and the character's
Wow.
with you, and you got to know how to say goodbye to it.
Right.
If you really want to
Yeah,
get there,
right,
Now,
yeah.
a lot of people are afraid,
Walk out with the
you know,
character,
to,
but you gotta
to
know how to leave
empty
the character
themselves
on
and be
stage.
filled up with something else.
Mhm.
But as an
Everybody
actor,
can't do that.
you're an emotional prostitute.
Wow.
I mean, you got to
He said you're
remember,
an
we've been
emotional
here since the very
prostitute.
beginning.
Mhm.
There is no good or bad.
Mhm.
It's just your perspective that
Just
you're
a way to
sitting
put
from. Is it
Right.
beneficial for everyone around, or is
Okay.
it not? There's something that has to build up, and there's something that needs to tear it down.
Mhm.
What we call the tearing of it down, we call it evil or bad, but that's the process of magnetism or
Mhm.
radiation. Radiation tears apart that which was concentrically
See,
brought
that's the
together
part
through
when he talks
electric
about how
potential and
radiation
electric
and the
force.
other elements
Electricity is
work.
always seeking a higher
Put that
pressure
stuff together.
condition, trying to get to the center of the apex, whereas Western trying to get out. But the magnetism is necessary
Now,
because
Paul,
unless it
do it look like she understand what he's saying?
You've only seen her like once.
I think she would stop him and say, "Well, wait a minute. I think she does because she said, "Wait a minute, you're gonna have to explain that."
broke apart that which was collected together, you would never have any new material to rebuild again. And that's the breathing in and the breathing out of universal purpose. Now, so at the end of the day, since the Creator made all things
Mhm.
and everything came from the Creator,
Right.
there is nothing that is bad except how you are perceiving it and whether it's beneficial to everyone around you, because something needs to tear things apart.
Now, he said something has to tear things apart. As far as understanding what he's saying,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to be a genius to understand that. Because it's more of the demonstrations of how he's taught. He's giving examples that he knows and then breaks it down for examples of that everybody can follow. When he's talking about it, he's explaining it to everybody. But he just has so many different scenarios that he's using that it just sounds crazy to us. Because at one point he's talking about the apex where we're all trying to get to, but it's radiation and the magnetism is always needing to be there. Something like he said, something has to build up, something has to break it down. So it's the man does have an interesting way of putting words, but it's all about the message and how you listen to it.
I think that his explanation his explanation is clear, but the stuff that he's talking about is not to us because we're not scientists and we don't work with those elements. But how he explaining how they work, that makes sense.
Yeah,
But when you look at the ramification or how that stuff actually make it work, well, then you got to go a little deeper in how the different elements play together. But one thing I will say that I think is cool, every element that we are is on this earth.
Mhm.
We're part of it. I mean, it's in our body. So, that's why he's talking about vibes and now he's talking about elements. And see, and he created some stuff. Go ahead, because
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
he's gonna show these things that flies in 6 different directions at one time.
And if you want to be
He
on the
came up with
building,
these drones, him and some other dudes, and it's 6 of them, and they can do these weird, like, what they do is, what it seems like to me that they do, they can form what a molecule look like. If you ever seen a molecule,
They can
how
do what?
you know how a molecule look, it'll have, like, if you got H2O,
You got drones doing this?
and he's got drones putting. I think that's what he's doing to prove his point, because
side
he's
of it,
suing a
then
lot
you
of
have
people.
a sustainable relationship with the universe because the universe loves to rebuild, but it also needs to tear apart at the same time.
Right. And
Oh, well, I don't consider the creator to be any of the names that have been personified
mm-hmm,
upon it, because if you think as above so
Yeah, he
below, and
showed me.
everything in the universe has an
mm-hmm.
equal and opposite mate, even in our chemistry
Okay.
every element has an equal and opposite mate, like the opposite mate of oxygen is a
Mm-hmm.
+2 and a -2 within that same octave is beryllium. If oxygen is bonded with any other element,
Mm-hmm.
the moment that it comes in contact with beryllium,
Mm-hmm.
it will break that other bond and immediately bond to beryllium because it's its equal and opposite mate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and the oxygen is feminine because it's part of the expansive side, whereas the beryllium is the masculine. So there's always this balance of masculine and
This just
feminine
stuff he think.
in the world that we see.
Mm-hmm.
And
That, wait a minute. That's interesting.
Go ahead.
Whoa. Femininity and the masculinity in the elements.
Yeah, there you go.
He's just
And you want to know something else too? The elements that's supposed to attract each other automatically does it to make up whatever compounds need to be made up. You don't have to manipulate it.
he
So
was just talking about the +2 and the -2 of having like oxygen and beryllium, saying that the oxygen will
and see, and I
disconnect
just started
itself
hearing
from
about
whatever.
beryllium here lately, but it's something that they talked about in Star Trek, not the original Star Trek, but in Voyager, she was talking about beryllium. So the other day I was looking at, because I watch a lot of Star Trek. I was looking at the other day and she mentioned, I said, well, they were just talking, they starting to talk about this. And it was because I've been listening to what he was talking about, because I've heard him talk before and he was talking about that.
That was just interesting to me, man. That was
everything that we do. So I was like, how can a male god produce a male son without a feminine deity?
Mm-hmm.
Where does that come from?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the
no
stories
God
of
produced
Jewish
Jesus
folklore,
Christ
I
with no female
appreciate,
deity.
you know, the Israelites and their story, but
Mhm.
they're not part of my history.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I subscribing to their deities? How have that been placed upon us?
He said
Why
not the
is it that
Israelites. He
black
said that's not a
men
part of
who
my
are not Jewish are
history,
getting
so why would I?
circumcised?
I often think about
They believe
this.
that faith and science are
As a
different.
child, when they came to me and asked me, for circumcised as far as you, I should have went with my first mind that I know, because that wasn't what I was. That wasn't my thing, you know. And once I learned that why the Jews basically did it, that wasn't my thing either. And it wasn't done to me, but it was done to my other brothers.
Mhm.
And I think it makes a difference psychologically. What he's saying, that that whole part of that is trauma to that male child, and it starts you on that journey of being traumatic or being in trauma.
Interesting. Hmm.
But the good thing is you can work yourself out of all of this stuff, man, if you know about it. Get yourself some God. I'm gonna tell you,
Something cool to drink.
something cool to drink, baby.
Or is faith and science synonymous?
Well, science is to explain natural phenomena.
Okay.
The whole point of science was to explain natural phenomena, and it should coincide with what takes place in the observable
Did you learn to
universe.
see your mom?
And that should strengthen one's faith.
Sure.
And that's why I said, as above, so below. So if here everything has an equal and opposite mate, and is necessary in order for the proliferation of life and the continuation of the death cycle that is just sleeping, and then you refold again and you're reborn again. And I don't, so I've always found it hard. I started off as a Christian. My mother raised us as Baptists and Methodists, and went through those walks. But then my father went to prison, and when he came out of prison, he was a Muslim. So we
Of course.
became Muslim
Yeah.
until I was like 13 years old. And then there's this really cool brother named Yaqub. You
So
know,
came out of
really
prison,
appreciated
showed
me.
the
Had always had
Muslim way.
this wonderful musk sent to him, the
Mhm.
order dashiki, and he was such a beautiful and kind person. And then one day I came home, and my father and all of his friends were sitting around talking seriously, and I was like, "What happened?" Well, it turned out that Yakub, the gentleman, had
Cool.
cut the genitals off of someone, wino, that had urinated on the mosque,
Interesting.
Wow.
and
Ooh.
I was like,
Wow.
He
I have
basically
I didn't have children at that time, but
he basically uh someone defiled the mosque, and the
He
man
basically what?
someone defiled the mosque.
Oh, oh, when he
They
defiled by peeing on the step.
Yeah, he peed on it,
Yeah,
and so they were just telling them what the man did to get this get back for it. So
which is crazy.
man, but you shouldn't go around. You shouldn't disrespect folks' religion either, because you got some people out there that's really excuse me, that's really down for that stuff. Sorry. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Well, this is almost over. So
it's
Mhm.
like, how
I
can
thought they
that
had
God of
balloons
love
up here.
Right. Mhm.
have one? You know, because if my child urinated on my
Excuse me.
house, there's no way I would cut his genitals off.
Mhm.
So why is it that somebody would do that, thinking that
Right.
they're honoring
Right.
the
Right.
Creator? And I had to start rethinking things, and then I became a Jehovah's Witness.
he didn't went through all walks of life through religion. Like that gives you a different clarity on viewership, as such as how he thinks anyway. Uh
I think that you have to kind of. I try to explain that to a friend of mine. I said, you know, man, you got to look at other
I need
ways.
a tissue. Hold
Okay.
on. So you do your thing. You do your thing. I'll be back.
Yeah. Um, I'm just basically saying that when you go through different religions, like I was telling my friend, it gives you a different perspective because the Creator created all of this. And if He created all of this and He made it all different, He had a reason for it. And to just say that you can pick one side of it and just do that is crazy because all of it is part of it. That's why they call it creation. It's all part of that.
What, the creation process?
Yeah, man. I mean, knowing to look at other people's cultures and their religion and accepting other people for who they are and what they are and letting them be who they are. Just like now Trump is on trial. This is third day, this Wednesday. Third day. He's never in his life had to be accountable for anything. Now here you are, a 70-year-old man, and all of a sudden now you have to be accountable. And he don't know how. He don't have practice, you know, but he's learning. And the first thing is you learn you can't just say whatever you feel like saying just because you think you got the right to say it. But in some people's minds, they think that white is right and they have the rights and nobody else should have any. So that's where he finds himself today.
Hmm.
You got to let it go, people. White supremacy got to go. You got to let it go.
All right, guys, and on that note, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell when you want to be notified that we are dropping more videos. We're going to get all you guys together on the merchandise soon enough, and hopefully it all comes together, okay?
That
So we
same
will
car
see you
passed by that
in the
window.
next episode. Peace.
Peace.